Hello my beautiful people, you are welcome back to today's tutorial. How you guys doing? I love you all and God bless you all. So in our today's class, I'll be showing you guys how to cut and sew a hip length loop without an half cut. So it's really beautiful and simple. So let's quickly get started. So what we have on our table here is our pattern paper. So for better understanding, we will have to draft it out first before transferring to our main fabric. So what we have here is this is the back panel, while this is the front panel. So let's quickly label it now. This is the shoulder to this is our chest line. This is the bust point or your bust line. This is the under bust line. This is our waistline, while this is our hip line, and this is the full length of our dress. That's our gown. So can you see? Let's quickly place our waist dart. The waist dart we are working with is 4 inches. That is 8 inches into fold. 8 inches, 8 divided by 2 is 4, but we'll be placing 4.5 inches. The reason is this, we'll be needing an half inch to join it. So this is under bust, 4.5 inches, 4.5 inches. Under bust, 4.5 inches, waistline 4.5 inches, but the hip line is 4 inches. So I quickly connect it. So we're done placing it, we're done connecting it. This is our under bust, this is our bust point. So let's quickly extend it this way. Can you see? So this is our bust point. Your bust point is also 4.5 inches. We place 4.5 inches with bust point too. So we want to find our radius, the distance between your nipple to your under bust, which is 3.5 inches. To extend it, so this is our new chest line. So we'll quickly take our straight ruler to connect. Can you see? We have to quickly place our dart. So how do you place your dart? This is our, can you see, under bust. So from under bust, we're placing 2 inches waist dart. So that's 1 inch here, 1 inch here. The same, the waistline, 1 inch, that is 2 inches. So we quickly take our curve ruler to connect it to the bust point. Make sure everything blends properly. So this is our bust point, can you see? So for the upper part, remember we use 2 inches for the both side. So this part I always add 0.5 inch. So by the time I finish stitching it, the dart line will be straight. So for this part, I'll be adding 1.5 inches and 1 inch here. So I'll take my curve ruler to connect to, place it this way. Can you see? Place it properly. Make sure everything blends properly. Can you see? Can you see what we have now? So this is our chest line, the new chest line. So for the neck depth, find midpoint from this your chest line. You can come down by 2 inches, or you place your tape here, measurement tape, determine the neck depth. Remember, this is your bust line. So I'll be working with 9 inches. So I'll blend it this way. You can go deeper than that. Here is optional. Blend it properly this way. For the armhole, we step down by 0.5 inch, or you can step down by 1 inch. So here is optional as well. Can you see? Blend it properly. Can you see? So this is our yoke. So we are not making use of yoke, but those that are making use of yoke can make use of that. So now for the waist dart, we'll quickly take our straight ruler to connect it from the under bust to the waistline. Can you see? So from the waistline, take it straight to the hip line. Connect it this way. Can you see? This is our dart. This is our dart. We'll be eliminating this part. Can you see? So let's quickly place our measurement. The bust measurement we are working with is 10.5 inches. Place it, remember it controls the upper part. So the under bust is 8.5 inches plus 2 inches waist dart, which is 10.5 inches. The waist measurement we're working with is 9 inches plus 2 inches, that is 11 inches. The hip measurement I'm working with is 13 inches. Place it this way. For the down part of our dress, we'll be subtracting. You can as well place your hip measurement to have that pants down, or subtract 1 inch from it, or 2 inches. Mine, I will subtracting 1 inch. So I will quickly connect it now. For the upper part, the dart replacement here is just 1 inch. So we'll place it this way. Remember, it's 10.5 inches, making it 11.5 inches. So we'll be connecting with this. So let's quickly connect it. So we are done connecting it. This is our bust, this is our waistline, under bust, this is the hip. Like what I said for the down part, you can decide to subtract 1 inch from your hip measurement, or you can draft it straight also. So it's optional. So now we have to quickly cut it out. So I can move over to our back panel. So I'll be cutting out this. I won't be making use of yoke. So this is how it should look like when you are done cutting out your dart. We only added our dart replacements. Yes, so we add our same allowance while transferring to our fabric. For those that will be working with yoke, ignore this. Let's quickly cut it out. You can as well do this princess cut or shoulder dart. So this is how it should look like when you are done cutting it out. This is the yoke. So we'll be adding our cup. See, make sure you notch. This is the under bust. This is the under bust. So you can as well open it as I said earlier. So let's quickly move over to our back panel. So we have placed our front panel on the back panel. Can you see what I did? Is the yoke for those that are making use of the yoke. So now we want to find our hip line and our waistline and the chest line. We won't be needing bust line and under bust because it is back. Back is not busty. So how do we do that? We have placed it now. We will connect it this way. Let me quickly take my straight ruler. At this part, you can see my paper is not enough. It's about 0.5 inch. I will add it while transferring to my fabric. So this is our waistline, and this is our chest line. Can you see it? So for the zipper allowance, you can see I added just 1 inch. Actually, we're not making use of a zipper, but we'll be using it as the same allowance for the down part from the hip area. So for the back panel now, we have to quickly remove this front panel and connect the lines, the chest line, the waistline, and the hip line before we continue. So we have to quickly place our dart. Is 1 inch, that is a 0.5 inch here, 0.5 inch here. So I will quickly take my straight ruler to connect it to the hip line, straight to my hip line. And you see, because the back is not busty. So for that 1 inch I step down with, connect it this way. And you see what we have. So this is how the back dart should look like when you are done. We are eliminating this part. Can you see? So now we have to quickly now place our measurement. The measurement we are working with, the bust measurement is 10.5 inches, which is this. You place your measurement from this zipper allowance. This is our zipper allowance. The waistline is 9 inches, 1 inch that is 10 inches. We have to quickly create our neck line for the back neck. For those that are working with them, yoke, the back neckline is optional, yes, it's optional. This way, can you see? So this is the yoke. For those that are making use of the yoke, can you see the measurement? Let's quickly connect it first. Let's connect our measurement. Can you see? Take our hip ruler. So the full length of our dress. So I done connecting it now. Can you see? This is how it should look like. This is the waist area. So now we want to create our back neck. Like this back neckline is there. Option, as I said earlier, you could decide to make it a bit slanted this way. Can you see? Can you see? So this is how it should look like. So this back neckline is optional. I'm okay with it. So we want to quickly cut it out now so that we can create our loop, the space for it. So let's quickly cut it out. So we're done cutting it out. This is how the back line, the back panel should look like when you are done cutting it. Can you see the yoke? For those that are making use of yoke. So for the dart, I didn't cut it out. You can as well work with it like this, just from your waistline, 1 inch, you stitch it, or you can cut it open. So let's quickly now cut out. This is our hip line. So we have to create our loop now. So this is our hip line. For the hip line now, first we cut out the zipper allowance. Can you see? This is our zipper allowance. We are done cutting out that 1 inch. Can you see? So if you look at that picture very well, you will see that is a form of triangular shape. So for the chest line, we will go in. Let me quickly take my tape. For the chest line, we'll go in by 2 inches. You can as well work with more than that, yes. For mine, I'll be working with 2 inches. 2 inches. For the waistline, 1.5 inches. So I will connect it to the hip line. So let's quickly do that. Rather, your hip line, the waistline can work with 1 inch. It seems the 1.5 inches to be wide. I don't want my back to be exposed. So I connected this way. Can you see what I have right now? Can you see what we have? So this part now is our loop. So we'll be cutting out this part. Can you see? So let's quickly cut it out. Can you see? To meet your hip line. This is how it should look like. From this the wrong side. Can you see the dart? So we'll be cutting out a piece for that to cover it up. I will show you guys how you fix it. So by the time you add your loop, This down part, that is your waistline to your hip line, will be covered. Can you see? But if you also want to extend to your neckline, that is from your hip line to your upper chest, you can also do that. So for those that want to expose the back from this area, the upper chest to your waistline, so you end it this way, it's still the same method. So I will explain that why transferring to the fabric. So let's quickly introduce our fabric. So I've placed my front panel, can you see, on my main fabric now. But remember, when I was cutting, I used exactly my bust radius, so I have to add my seam allowance, 0.5 inch or 1 inch. To add 1 inch, can as well make use of 0.5 inch, connect this way. This is just for seam allowance for the upper part. So for the side, remember my paper was not enough, so I'll be using 2.5 inches for this seam allowance. Connect it. For this part, I will add 3 inches. So I will connect it this way. Can you see? For the length, I'm starting to add to the length of my dress. I want us to quickly cut it out. Place it properly. So we're done cutting it out. Can you see what we have now? Always notch. We will cut our line in two. So let's quickly put this front panel aside and cut out the back panel too. So we have placed our back panel now. You see, I added to my length, my dress. So the same allowance, 2.5 inches around this. So we have to find out how many inches we have here. Is 9 inches. So you could decide to use satin for this. Yes, you decide to use another fabric. So it's 9 inches, can you see? But I'll be working with 11 inches by the time I stitch it to close it up. So for the width, I'm okay with 6.5 inches. I'm working with just this one because from my waist to my hip line. So I'm cutting it out now. So when we are done, this is how it should look like. This part now, by the time I stitch it this way, it will cover it up here. Yes, to cover it up here. So for the back panel, guys, I've cut it out the loop. Can you see? So I just use my bias. Can you see? I just folded it this way. I use 3 inches. 3 inches. So note, if you placing 15, that means you'll be cutting out 30 because it's on two sides. So you place it this way and make sure that it's facing each other. So by the time you lace it, everything will look fine. See, facing each other. Can you see? This is how it should look like when we are placing it. Can you see? We quickly move to our sewing machine. For this, I'm not sewing my lining separately. So if you are doing that, make sure your lining should be separate from your fabric. You join it separately, but mine, I'm joining my lining and my fabric together. So this is the front part. So added 1 inch, we want to attach it now. We added 1 inch here while we are cutting it. So we have to place, make sure we leave that inch. No, we'll be sewing it with our line to turn it. So for the distance also, it's optional. I'll be working with 1.2 inches or 1 inch distance. So let's quickly connect it now. You place it on it, you back stitch. So I will sew it round. Can you see? Back stitch, you pick another one again. And note, as the way you are placing it this way is exactly the way you place it this way. They have to face each other 1 inch. So maintaining that 1 inch. Yes, I'll be using my lining. By the time I use my line to send it in, stitch it this way. This is how it should look like. Can you see? So let me quickly stitch it around and show you guys. I'm done stitching it. Can you see? So we want to quickly place this part because I don't want my butt to be exposed. So before turning my lining, excuse me, I will come this way to place this. So by the time I stitch my lining will go in over it, while this one will remain on this part this way. Can you see what I mean? So the lining will cover it, this will remain this way. So can you see how it should look like? So I was cover my line, cover this side too with my lining as well. To this way, to be positioned this way. So this is how it should look like. So I want to quickly attack this mine and stitch on the same line. Can you see? So I stitch. Check to make sure you're on the right track. Can you see? So I'm stitching on my loop to meet this point. So can you see? Can you see what we have? So this is how it should look like. By the time we have finished joining this down part, the hip from my waist to my hip line, you can as well extend as I said earlier. So I want to quickly introduce my lining now. So this is my lining. So this is my line. I want to cover it up now. So let's stitch. For this part now, I will send it in this way. Can you see? I will send it in this way. So let's quickly stitch it now. For my lining, I've not added my dart. Right? It's a bit rough. So by the time we send it in, can you see what I was talking about, guys? So this is how it should look like. Can you see? So this is the part. Can you see? I've not added mine. See, my line is longer than my fabric. Can you see? Because I've not added my dart on this lining. So let's just concentrate on this. So this is how it should look like. So this is the damp part. Can you see? So let's quickly flip this part over. See, so I'll go to my sewing machine too to turn this part also with my lining. So can you see? So this is my upper part, this part that will be exposed. This from my waist to my hip. I'll be closing this down part this way. So let me quickly turn this one with line and show you guys. So for the back lining, can you see? I just trim out the that allowance. So can you see? So I'm done stitching it. I've turned it over. Can you see? So I stitch it round. This is that part we'll be adding to this other part. Can you see how sharp this area is? I will stitch to this part. I will start my stitches from this part, the hip line. So I just stitch it round and open it from this part. Can you see? So I'll be I will run a straight line stitch here and give it a very nice press. So I want to quickly open it up now. This part, I've run a straight line stitch. Can you see what I did? Can you see the damp part? What I have here? Exactly what I have here. So I want to quickly now stitch it round too and trim out the dart allowance from the lining. So I'll quickly show you guys. When we're done fixing it, notice 1 inch, that zip allowance added will be going in. So it should look this way. Can you see? So by the time you lace it up, you can see this is from my waist to my hip line. It should not be exposed, but the upper part can be exposed. So I want to quickly take my sewing machine now to stitch it this way to meet with this zipper allowance 1 inch. Can you see, to meet here and quickly show you guys. Hello my beautiful people, can you see we are done? So this is how it should look like when you are done. So this is our inner. Yes, it serves as our inner just to cover it so that we will not expose our butt. So this is that 1 inch that we added as our zipper allowance. So we have joined our dress. So can you see the upper part? You can as well extend this to this place to cover it up. So this is the wrong side. For my dart, I just trim it out, the dart allowance. I didn't add my dart to the lining. So this is the front panel. Can you see how beautiful it looks? So this is the front panel. Can you see the cup area? Can you see it actually works? Can you see? So I'll be adding my interfacing later. Can you see? So guys, please, if you find this my video interesting, click on the like button there and feel free to drop your question on the comment section there. And please, if you are new to my channel, click on the subscribe button there, and also please click on the notification bell so that each time I upload a new video you will get notified. I love you all. I remain Chi Living Signature. Bye for now.